Yo, yo, what's up, YouTube? This is ARC Capital coming at you with our Sunday preparation class for the week of March 30th till April 3rd, 2026. Today, we're going to be going over last week's, we're going to be going over the economical calendar, Fed speakers, and earnings, and any potential setups that we're looking at going into this week. So let's get right into it, guys. Starting off, we are looking at last week's recap, right? So we're going to be looking at the recap for Friday, March 27th, 2026. We're going to be looking over where SPY, QQQ, VIX closed in our individual names and our game plan for Monday, right? So SPY closed around 634, which has been bearish. Cloud is red on all time frames, and we broke below the weekly cloud, guys. We've been trending above the weekly cloud all year. We're finally starting to see a flip on the weeklies, which we'll go into a little bit later in class. Our support area is going to be at that 629 to 631 level, and our resistance is going to be up at 641 to 644, right? Then for QQQ, we closed around 562, also closing bearish. Red cloud on all intraday time frames, and the daily and weekly clouds are green, but they're crashing, right? We're starting to see the flip occur, right? So this is not something to guys. This last weekly close was pretty big, right? Especially with everything happening in the world right now with war and whatnot, right? Continuing down here with the support level for you, it's going to be 560, and our resistance is going to be up at 569 to 575. Then for our VIX, we closed at 3104, guys. This is danger, right? So this is 0.91 plus percent of the ARC danger zone, right? We're sitting above 30. So the recommendation for us here at ARC Capital is to sit out, guys, right? Sit out. It's gonna be very volatile. And you calculated, right? You're gonna have to lower your size. I'm not saying dull. I'm saying be more decisive about the plays that you're gonna take, and lower your size, right? There's still gonna be opportunity, and we will find it, right? So the VIX also has a green cloud, and it's expanding, but the VIX plays less on the cloud, so doesn't hold as much confluence as the stocks. Going over our individual names, Tesla closed at around 310 above the daily cloud. It's holding. Nvidia closed at around 148 with a below the cloud. Weekly is breaking down. AMD also closed at 201, right above that 200 psychological level, closing bearish below the cloud. Apple closed at 259, holding the cloud on that weekly support, holding above it. Palantir closed at 141 with a bearish close below the daily cloud, and the week is fading. And Meta closed at 521 with a bearish close below the cloud. Big weekly breakdown, right? For the ARC Confluence Score, we see that it is bearish with SPY and QQ's clouds both aligning to the downside on higher time frames, right? And bearish with VIX being up 25, closing at that 3104 level. Probably going to open up way higher, right? So this is a C tier trading environment. VIX too high equals no trade. So cash was the trade for the previous week. It was definitely smarter to a little bit lighter in size, guys, right? Be more selective about the trades that you're taking. So Monday game plan for for us, VIX must reclaim lower than 25. SPY needs 641 plus above the cloud for longs. QQQ needs to reclaim that 569 to 575 zone, that range. SPY below 629. Our next support is at 604, guys, right? Pretty big dump here with those lining up with that 6 level, right? So overall bias for the week, guys, is going to be bearish, right? Patience is key, guys. Protect your capitals. Stay patient. Going on to the next here is what to expect for this week. So where are we? SPY right now. In the after hours is at 631.04, but when I was making this, it was 634. So down from 686 from 4 weeks ago, guys. So in the last month, SPY is down $52. That's 7.6% in 1 month, guys. This is a confirmed downtrend. It's not a dip, right? This is a trend. Respect it. Don't call the bottom. Patience is the edge. Now that we've had daily or weekly close under and we're seeing clouds start to flip, it's not the time to try to call the bottom every single time we make a new low. Right, guys? So, what are our key levels for SPY? Going over what we just went over again. Our resistance is going to be that 645 to 676 range. This is last week's range, now overhead. Our support is going to be around 630. Break from here, low to 620. Bearish bias until proven otherwise, right? Going over the VIX, once again, we closed at 3104. If we see us get below that 25 level, the ARC's on, we can look for setups, right? Between 25 and 30, you can be cautious, reduce size, raise the bar for the confluences that you're taking to get into this trade. And above 30, this is where we are right now. This is a danger zone. So most days are going to equal a sit out, right? Be patient this week, guys. What does this mean for your trading? The system exists for weeks exactly like this. Trust the process. VIX under 20, or yeah, VIX over 25. Will equal smaller size, fewer, higher bar to enter. Wait for cloud plus VWAP to line up. Don't force it out of boredom. Best trades this week might be no trade, and that is a W, right? Going over to the weekly news that we're going to be looking at for this week is going to be, or the big macro events that we're looking at this week is going to be Jerome Powell speaking at 10:30. It's going to give us more economic outlook, and we're actually going to go further into these day by day. Let me just switch the slide here. So a glance at the week, guys. This is going to just be a quick overview of what we're looking at for the week. So let me go more in depth here, right? So on Monday we have Jerome Powell speaking at the NAB conference in Washington, D.C. So we're going to be looking out for anything towards the economy that he's going to be talking about, any economic outlooks, at the economic outlooks. And then at 4 p.m. we also have another Fed speaker. Tuesday is also pretty data heavy. Wednesday is going to be a high volatility day, guys. Thursday we have jobless claims. Friday we have some pre-market news and PMI 15 minutes in. So let's go over these days one by one just so you guys have the times here. Right. So at 10:30, once again, Powell is speaking at the NAB Economic Policy Conference. This is not an FOMC meeting, but he will be addressing economic outlook and rate path. This is one of his final public appearances before the term ends. Before his markets will move on every word. Treat it like a Fed day, guys, right? So Monday is definitely going to be, you guys need to be precise. We're going to be watching Jerome Powell talk an hour into the market, right? So we need to be aware of these things that he's going to be talking about, right? If he's going to be addressing economic outlook, and it's going to be one of his final appearances. On Tuesday, some pre-market news. We have at 9 a.m. we have S&P Case-Shiller home price index. Nothing much until 10 a.m. guys, right? We have job openings and consumer confidence at 10 a.m. Then we have more Fed speakers talking later in the day. One at 12 p.m., one at 3, and one at 5:15. So 2 during the market and 1 after. Wednesday is going to be another high volatility day, guys. We have a lot of news in the pre-market and in those first 30 minutes. So we are going to be more patient here on this day, obviously waiting those first 30 minutes. At 8:30, you have U.S. retail sales, which are delayed report. We also have retail sales minus autos, and then APD job reports. Right at the market open, 5 minutes in, we have a Fed speaker talking. Then at 9:10, 10 minutes into the market, we have another Fed. We have Fed Governor Michael Barr speaking, right? Then at 9:45, we have manufacturing PMI. And then at 10 a.m., we have ISM manufacturing and business inventories, which is another delayed report, right? So we are jam-packed on Wednesday for news, guys, right? So going on to the next day here, which is going to be Thursday, April 2nd. We have initial jobs claims at 8:30 and also U.S. trade deficit. Little pre-market news. This is going to be one of the less news-packed days in this week, guys, that Thursday, right? So going into, we have P job days, right? So 45K jobs added. The forecast, which is the forecast previous previous 92K. Unemployment forecast is going to be at 4.5%, which is up from our previous 4.4%. And this is going to be happening at 9:45 a.m., guys, right? So why job days matter for options traders. Biggest market moving report of the month. Expect wide gaps at the open. Strong jobs equals Fed stays hawkish, which results in pressure on the rates sensitive stocks and bonds. Weak jobs equals potential rate cut talk, which could be a rally in growth stocks. Watch IV spikes into Friday open. Consider your position sizing before that day. Compare APD with NFP for divergence opportunity. Right, guys? So, once again, going over all the speakers for this week. Monday, you have Jerome Powell, John Williams in the morning, in the afternoon. On Tuesday, you have Austin Gooseby at 12, and then Michael Barr at 3, and Michael Bauman at 5:15. Wednesday, you have Alberto Musam at 9:05, and then also Michael Barr once again on Wednesday. So 2 appearances in 1 week, guys. So going to the earnings for the week here. Rich, are you back and settled? You want me to go over the earnings for the week? Let me know, brother.
Gucci, man. Waiting for you to tell me what's good.
Hello. How we doing?
Man, posted up in Argentina right now.
How's Argentina, man? We know that you landed there, on Friday? You've been there for, 3-4 days now? Hello.
Yo, if you seen that analysis on Friday, bro, and listened to it, come on.
Did they
It was just
listen?
too perfect. It was just too perfect. It was, yeah, man, I'm on here just knocking out, man, hanging. You want me to go over this?
Yeah, earnings for the week. We're on what? I think we're on slide 11. Yep.
You're good. I'm just gonna read it off the screen right here. So earnings for the week on Monday, we have nothing really that we watch in the market open. Resolve AI, RZLV. That's I never heard of that company. But after market close, nothing really too crazy. We have PRGS, DMAC, ARKO, Fathom, FTHM, BLNE. Tuesday before market open, we have MKC. We have Bit Farms, which is interesting. That's another crypto name. A few others before the Tuesday market before the Tuesday open. A lot of earnings on Tuesday. After close, we have Nike. We have RH, which is Restoration Hardware. This is a big consumer name. Beyond Meat and then NCNO. Beyond Meat and NCNO we don't really trade, but Nike definitely interesting for Nike. Wednesday before we have LW, CAG, MSM, G Tilray, TLRY, UNF, and another morning with a lot of RV and RX and one more. After the close, we have Penguin Solutions, PNG, PENGFC, and PED. Nothing really trade, nothing really we care about. And on Thursday, before market open, we have Security Brands. NAMM, LNN, and ANGL. Like I said, nothing we really look. And the market is closed on Friday, guys. We have another short week. We have Good Friday this week, short week. So you understand contracts close on Thursday. You have what 4 days of trading, so 3 days of expiration since contracts open on Monday. Gives you 3 days of expiration. So weeklies are going to be moving very fast. Got to be careful when you're trading. The data is going to be enhanced. I would say enhanced week just because we have that Friday off. Thursday is so we could see choppiness. And you want to get into the next what to expect this week. Where our SPY closed Friday at 634, down from, like Angel said before, 686 just weeks ago. 52 $52 drop in 1 month. We are in a confirmed down. Have to respect this trend that's going on. The number one way to maneuver in this market right now, in my opinion, is watching the VIX with the indexes as well. Since the VIX is over 30, closed over 30, we are in, as we call it, the danger zone, right? What does this mean? This means that moves can be very violent, and we could see last time we had a spike in the VIX like this, right? The market has these violent drawdowns, right? So we could very well come down back to 600, retest it. VIX can have one of the days where we spike over 30 and have an aggressive day up to like 45, $50 plus, maybe even more, right? So what does that mean with the if VIX has one of those days, and I'm gonna go. I guess we'll go later, or I'll send a screenshot in a second of what I'm talking about. If we look at the monthly, you'll see anytime we have some of these extreme sell-off events, extreme VIX spikes, it's always based off of some catalyst, some kind of news. It's never just random. We have the scenario for one of these VIX spikes to happen. War, potential troops on the ground, all of these negative catalysts, a regime change. A regime change is thing to navigate, especially in the markets. It's not the kind like it's just it's going to be, and I genuinely think this is going to last for a potential decent amount of time, and it means that the market's going to be tough for a decent amount of time. So, Angel, did you just put the thing in the chat? Oh no, you didn't. My bad. So it's going to be it's not a swinging market unless you are potentially shorting and swinging on the short side. Then it is a favorable market because any kind of news can come out, and this can go both ways. Any kind of news can come out and drive the market up short term, and you can get absolutely caught up sides on any side. I'm going short or going long. It's my opinion. It's the kind of market to be cash every day, going into each session, into each open. Right, cash is the best thing to be. Watch how the price action is that day. Watch what the news is that day, and so on and so forth. And take what you can and go. Even if to want to be very if you are letting runners run, which I highly recommend always, you want to be like if we're sized down, it's going to be harder to let those runners run. So you want to let's say you're 10, you want to go three at a time because those three, if you catch it in the right way, can go 200-300% fast, and you could hold it within 10 contract position. Um, but anyways, the number one thing to watch is if VIX gets under the 25, obviously the market's going to be bouncing probably over that 640, 650 area, and maybe we'll see some bounces in other tech names and S&P stocks and just others in general, right? Setups would be a lot more cleaner to potentially swing. If VIX is over 25, like it has been, we want to reduce our size, fewer trades. Now, this doesn't mean you have to reduce your size to completely. You could take the same size, but you want to take very calculated trades, consistent stops in a market, and you have to respect them in a market like this. VIX is over 30 most days. It could be a very choppy action. It could be very aggressive action to both sides. So you just want to tread carefully. You want to if you're taking trades and shots, you want to go slow and go light size. Um, so you don't, in case you get caught offside, it's not gonna hurt you. You don't want to be married to any position either. This is not the market to love your trades that you're in. You get in, you get paid, and you get out. That's it. You get in, you get paid, and you get out. SPY key levels for the week we have 645, 656 big resistance area. This is last week's range, and it's now overhead. The support on the 630, the support on SPY is 630. A break below, watch for low 620s. 624, 623 area. Our bias for this week is a bearish bias. We're not going to try and call the bottom. What does this mean for our? The system exists for weeks exactly like this one. VIX under 25 or VIX over 25, smaller size, fewer calculated trades, and a higher bar to entry. Right? What does that mean? Just a higher. They have to be A plus setups, clear stops, clear setups. Hopefully clear. Wait for clouds in the VWAPs. Don't force it. Don't trade because you're bored. Best trade this week might be no trade, and that's a win. But in my opinion, it's just a very big week to watch. Watch and listen to the news. If you can catch a direction where, let's say, it's a bad news drops and the market hasn't caught on to it yet, you could potentially position yourself into the short before that drop happens. And then vice versa with the longs. Let's say we have some good news drops. You could potentially take a long position, and as the market catches on to it, then SPY gets that big reaction. We do have some key macro events this week, Wednesday, Friday, and all in we have job reports and we do some a lot of Fed speakers this week. So want to tread carefully, protect your capital. There will be cleaner weeks ahead, and this is when you just want to be more patient. Market is telling you something, let the setup come to you. Don't trade just to trade. Be patient and take those calculated shots. You know what I'm saying? We can get to the next
Facts.
slide now, my brother.
That's it. We can get into the charts if you wanna get to
That's
them.
it. Oh, that's beautiful. That's it. Say
Yep. Yeah,
less. What?
we went through everything pretty. All the information's on the screen, so easy money.
Um, this works real quick. You guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. All right, so one thing that I want everyone to know, what I'm talking about with these VIX spikes is like, this is the monthly chart. So see these, these wicks, these spikes, VIX spikes. Do you see them? Do you see them? Shit, I can't even see the chat. Give me a second. Do we see those? Yeah, we see those VIX spikes. All right, so what are these spikes? These are um, these are news driven, whether it's some kind of pressure on the economy, whether it's some kind of pressure, whether it's some kind of war, whether it was, I think it was the war, one of them, whether it was the COVID, we ripped up to 85. It was carry trade last year in 2023 when we ripped up to um, 65, or 2024 when we ripped up to 65. These are all news-driven VIX pops, right? So now we are in the market where we have literally the perfect recipe for one of these kind of events to happen again. Now, I mean, for us as traders, is like I was saying yesterday. I mean, not yesterday. I was saying just a second. The best way, in my opinion, to maneuver in this market is by going into everyday cash and watching the market. And this is going to be tough for people who have a job because it's not really something that's going to be easy to do. Trading in a market like this is not easy. An easy market is something that we had pretty much last year from June until October, right? Um, so that being said, we have the major recipe for one of these VIX pops. Now, if we are trading through it, the people we want to be cash. We can go into every day with a clear mind, no bias, and just read the price action, understand kind of what's going on, the headlines, potential headline to come out. And now, if one of those headlines come out and you catch it in the right direction, let's comes out and says that we're sending, troops are going to be in next week, that could be super, super, super bad for the market. And VIX could pop over that 3150, rip to over 35, 36, and potentially even come all the way up to 40 or 50 area, right? Last we saw it was when we popped up to the 60, yeah, literally to the 60 area, right? We had the perfect, I forgot what the catalyst was that kind of brought us up here. But what I'm saying, we are in that perfect environment for something like this to happen. Now, if this happens, what are we going to see on SPY and Qs and the overall market? We're going to see SPY and Qs get hit hard. We're going to see all the super hyper growth stocks like stocks Rocket Lab, stocks like CoreWeave, stocks like NBIS, stocks like Iron, stocks like BMNR, stocks Cipher, HIMS and Bull and the Quantums. All of these names are going to get hit hard as well, right? Anything that has had like these clean trends are obviously going to have these hard rejections, like we're seeing on right here, right? Huge moves up, but since the market's not cooperating and overall selling off, they're selling names like this too. So these could continue down, and they have room all the way down to these previous levels before. So things can, in a market like this, guys, things can get bad and bad quick. So we don't want to marry positions. We want to day trade. Day trading is going to be, in my opinion, the number one thing to be doing in a market like this. Everything on Friday came down what? 2% or more? Yeah. 2%, 5%, 10%, 3%, 4%, 7%. Barely anything on the watch list is green. What are the things that are green? Look at this. So look at this, look at this. Right here, guys. What names are here? What sector or what little what stocks are these? Do we know? Come on, chat. Do we know? Oh, Tonic. See, Joey listens. Joey listens. Because Joey likes to make money. Hello. These are the photonic stock, guys. This is a clear look. Go to these stocks, and this is clear strength. Hold on. This is clear strength and a clear flag developing on low market cap stocks. I'm gonna drop it in the chat for my boy Crazy Papa. All of these stocks are flagging, basing, in my opinion, and holding their supports very well. I think they're. If one thing about me is, I'm okay with. I'm good at the strong stocks in a weak market. Now we have a clear strength. Why do we have clear strength, guys? Look at the watch list right here. Let me bring it over real quick. Look at the watch list right here, guys. Everything on this is red, no? Everything most part. What's green? Right? Oil is green. SNDK is green. S&D, while the market's selling off ridiculous. That's what is that? What is that? AAOI, LITE, COHR, GLW are all green while the market is red, heavy red too. What does this mean? This means clear strength, right? Everything is selling off and these stocks are green on the day. To me, that signals very clear strength. So if the market does get a bounce back, and realistically speaking, we will likely a nice bounce would be appropriate after a violent days like this. Now we can continue absolutely having these violent days, breaking through all these downside levels. But if we do have any, let's say, green day, and we have a gap up and then push up and fill the gap, and let's say we close at 650 and we have one of those big days, the stocks that were strong on Friday can absolutely have massive days on a potential green day. So just watch out for that, right? And these are going to be some of the stocks that we're going to be watching into the week: AAOI, SNDK, LITE, COHR, GLW. GLW is a small account play, and it moves very similarly with AAOI. And AAOI is another one that's very nice for small accounts too. And these are good. These, in my opinion, are still good share opportunities. Market caps are very low on these stocks. Yeah. What else do I have, guys? Let's see. I think I might just save everything else for pre-market with Richmond. What are you thinking? What do we think, chat? Another see some nice dip buyer might be something like NBIS, right? This was a strong stock now down, filling the gap down. If this comes down under 100, even potentially down to this 80 area again, a very nice buy at this 85, 86, 80 area for sure. All right. We want to know what's strong in a market like this. Look at Hood just absolutely hammering from 150 down to 66, minus almost what 60% from the highs. Hello, crazy. That's everything I said now. And I'm gonna save the rest for pre-market with the rich man. The market could absolutely reverse, not absolutely reverse, but could some potential reversals happen by market open. So overall bias bearish, but not really gonna give out like trading plans until we see how the around 8:30, 9 o'clock, 30 minutes. I think that's kind of a fair assessment. But looks top could continue to be a short. But if we're going back to what I said, if we're playing short term on a short term manner, have to really respect hourly and 10-minute trends. If the 10-minute trend is bullish, you have to trade directionally, in opinion. And if you're not comfortable doing that, then you don't trade. But yeah, definitely just another week. We're gonna have to hear the news, think of news, wait for everything to come out, kind of just sit back and absorb going on. A lot of crazy times, guys. Regime change going on, and just major stuff happening, guys. So it's unfortunate that it's a boring market. Had some beautiful days. Look at this. This is absolutely beauty. I hope a lot of you made money on Friday, man. I was, of course, this kind of action happens when I get on a flight. But look at this. Beautiful days, back to back. Very big volume days on SPY. You see how these three candles very choppy, but we love these strong directional daily candles are the days where you will make the most money, right? Those very strong directional daily candles, both ways, up and down, right, are the days where you will make the most money. These are heavy trending days. So happened on Friday. Do we think we'll see it continue down? Don't know. We'll see. But tune into pre-market with Rich Man and figure out everything, or to see everything that I'm really looking at for the open. And yeah, man, that's it. That's all. Anything else you want to take the screen and go over the stocks you're watching?
Yeah, here I'll go over some of the stuff that I'm looking at. Little review. Let's see here. Let me switch the camera. Okay. Boom. So as you guys can see, we are looking at Tesla here on the weekly time frame, guys. We are starting to see this flip. Last week we got a test of that 395 like area where that was lining up. We got a big rejection off of it, closing under our 675 area. Now breaking down towards our 675. My bad. What am I even saying? 365 area. Coming right down to our 3.15 level. I do expect us to get cloud test. So green day during this week. Whether it's a volatile up and then back, just some sort of cloud test once again on the weekly time frame. So maybe not a push fully down right off rip. We are around these levels on Tesla here. If we're looking at the overall market as well here, let's see, Nvidia also closing on our cloud and closing under our 170.57 level, which we used as support multiple times in this previous range, and also breaking down to this 162 area, which will 163 area, which I think that we'll see more continued downside here. Like we mentioned, guys, this isn't like the bottom where we're officially trend. So let's see, guys. Unless Trump comes and says some tweets or something, who knows? We don't even know what the reality that we're living. So going to AMD, holding up a little bit. Two stocks that we just looked at, still trading above 200 psych level. Cloud still holding up bullish, right? Haven't seen a flip yet there. Apple also kind of same ordeal. Cloud is flip, but we are holding the overall trend. But yeah, besides that, guys, not really anything else. Gonna be observing more this week. We're interested in what Jerome Powell has to say on Monday at 10:30. So we might do free, might not stream that speech, so you guys can talk to each other while take some notes and kind of be in tune with where the economy is, right? So once again, tune in with pre-market with Rich at 9 a.m. EST to get the rest of our watch list, to get a structured day. We're also getting some upgrades with our Jarvis bots. He's going to be using more context throughout the week. And when he's giving that technical, and he'll be referring to, everything that we've planned for to this point for this. So yeah, guys, just expect, be patient this week, guys. Expect to sit back and really observe. And if you are going to get in with lighter size. Just be picky with the setups. Don't stay in all day. Get out nice, quick, and remember, it's about defense in these types of markets, guys. So I hope everyone has a great night. And if there's any questions before we get into prayer, we'll take the questions now. Let us know, guys.
www.
See my boy Aldo. Let's see. If there's no questions, we'll get just right into prayer, guys. Just see some W's in the chat. Hello. All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to just get right into prayer, guys. It looks like no one has any questions. I'll get right into it then. Dear Heavenly Father, I'd just like to thank you so much for having such a team. Thank you for always keeping us on the grind, always keeping us concentrated on our goals, Lord. I just ask you to continue to guide us and give us the confidence and the patience in these markets. We know that there's a lot of indecision, and the VIX is high right now, so just give us the opportunity in the darkness. And I just ask you to watch over all of our lives listening to this call. And make sure that everyone gets the rest that they need tonight. Hello. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I hope you guys
Amen, man.
have a good one, man.
W's.